Hey guys, I wanted to address a very important topic, in my heart at least, and that is adrenal fatigue and the diet. Can you be vegan and still recover from adrenal fatigue? So I gotta say that the common opinion and view on this in the literature is that you actually have a very hard time being vegan to recover from adrenal fatigue. And some of you know I had and still have a bit of adrenal fatigue. I'm still recovering, but I'm already really quite well. I was very bad when it was the worst. And I am vegan, and I'm a high carb, low fat vegan. And I feel this video is very important because my statement is that you can recover from adrenal fatigue as a high carb, low fat vegan. And according to the official books about adrenal fatigue, this is almost not possible. They don't say it's not possible at all, but it's that they do not recommend being vegan at all. Plus, they recommend eating high fat, high protein, and high animal protein. So, how can this work? So basically, when you have adrenal fatigue, the cells of your body, they have used up all that they've stored because you've stressed your adrenals too much. So you've had too much stress, and that depletes the cells and the nutrient stores, so you need even more than you already do anyway. That shows how important diet and nutrition is when you want to recover from adrenal fatigue, because you don't only want to keep them healthy, but you want them to heal. So that is very important. And the diet is the base of everything. Like, nutrition is the base of your body, how it can heal diseases. Very central for adrenal fatigue is the stress hormone cortisol. The cortisol is important in terms of diet because it keeps the blood sugar stable. So that is one function of it. And when the cortisol is too high, when you stress your body too much, then the blood sugar gets also too high, because so you get blood sugar spike from eating foods that you don't get a blood sugar spike of when you're healthy, when you're not too stressed. And if it's too low, the cortisol, then the blood sugar is too low as well. So so when you want to recover from adrenal fatigue, you really have to avoid these situations of too high and too low sugar. Worsens the adrenal fatigue if you don't pay attention to that. So with adrenal fatigue, you basically have unstable blood sugar. So you basically need to take over the task that actually the adrenal glands have. And that is why you have to pay attention in the diet that your blood sugar remains stable. So first of all, no fake energizing drinks at the expense of the adrenals, like coffee or cola and fast foods. But I mean, that's for sure, because that stresses the adrenals. So, and then the cortisol, the stress hormone cortisol, when it's too high, it produces more insulin, and that can make you gain weight, like it was the case for me. And because the insulin, the high amount of insulin, makes the carbohydrates tend to get rather stored as fat. What do I recommend? How is it possible that you can be high carb and not high protein or high fat and still be vegan and still be recovering from adrenal fatigue? How did I manage it? So I'm not saying I'm already finished. I'm not fully like 100% recovered from adrenal fatigue, but yeah, but I did very, very, very huge steps in terms of recovery, and I do recommend the following diet adaptation. So you actually can't be exactly on the raw till 4 diet that you used to, because that is what I had very, very, very huge problems with. I couldn't do everything like I used to with raw till 4, but I just did very, very little adaptations, which still kept me on raw till 4 and on a vegan diet and high carb. But yeah, those little adaptations to my diet were really, really important, and that is why I make this video. Yeah, for healing, you actually need to eat in such a way that you don't put stress on your adrenals. So that means no cortisol dips and no cortisol spikes, no high blood sugar, and yeah, you also need to eat to decrease your symptoms. And for this, I recommend, and the literature also recommends, a very early breakfast, no later than 10 a.m. and as soon as possible after waking. And then an early lunch, like 11:30, then a snack at 2 or 3 p.m. and then a dinner at 5 or 6 p.m. and then before bed a few bites of something. And yeah, you see these meals are smaller than you usually had them. But yeah, there are more meals during the day to keep the blood sugar more stable and to not have too much sugar and carbs in one sitting, so your blood sugar can cope with it better. So you actually need to meet your body's needs with the diet. And yeah, you want to tax and burden your adrenals as less as possible, obviously. So, and what the common literature says about this is that you actually have to eat a lot of animal products. You actually need to have a protein-rich, a fat-rich diet, and animal products provide this, and they're excellent for this purpose, right? Yeah, so dairy and all kinds of animal products. And when I read this as a high carb, low fat vegan, I was like, this can't be it. This just can't be the solution. This can't be healthy for me and heal my adrenals or my whole body. Basically, when it's just not healthy. Long term, it is unhealthy as fuck. And so yeah, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put that crap into my body. So I stayed vegan, but what I did is these adaptations. I want to show you the befores and the afters, what I changed. So the befores are great and excellent and perfect for healthy adrenals. But the afters, the adaptations that I made to my diet are recommended for weak and exhausted adrenals. So the befores are not bad, not at all. I actually came to that again. I've come to that again, so I already can eat like I ate before, pretty much. But when my adrenal fatigue was the worst, I had to do these changes. So before, I ate huge smoothies and huge meals in general. Like a 2-liter smoothie in one meal, and always 1,000 calories plus. So, and then when my adrenal fatigue was the worst, so I recommend you, when you have adrenal fatigue, to have only like 500 calories in a meal, or yeah, in a smoothie, and that is, so make just a 1 liter of smoothie. And before I had 3 meals per day. Then I had more meals per day, like, yeah, 5 or 6. Before I was low sodium, and after I put extra sodium to my diet. Why is that? The aldosterone that the adrenals also produce, this hormone, is responsible, it regulates the sodium-potassium ratio. And because, when your adrenals are fatigued and exhausted, this regulation can't work properly anymore as well. And the sodium gets removed out of the blood circulation and it is excreted by the urine. And that is why I also had to pay attention on the potassium intake. And my wonderful bananas. I had to suffer from banana deficiency. No, just kidding. Well, I love my bananas and also potatoes. Those foods are very potassium rich. And I had to reduce the amount of bananas and potatoes when my adrenal fatigue was the worst. I didn't want to believe it, but I found out I actually had to, because my symptoms got worse only after banana and potato foods, which I eat very much, but basically everything that was potassium rich. Just researches what foods are high in potassium. And so I had to actually decrease the amount, but I just included plenty of other fruits, and I didn't give them up. No, not at all. I couldn't give my bananas up completely. I just had not like 20 bananas in a day, but 10 or something. I just listened to my body, and when my adrenal fatigue was the worst, it just wasn't possible. But no problem if you have just other fruit. So and back to my befores and afters. So that's the reason why I actually included more sodium. I drank a little teaspoon of sea salt together with water in the morning, because that is when you want to unburden your adrenals and to like give them the opportunity and the chance to keep all the energy for the day work, basically. So what they have to do in the day and for healing. So I wanted to unburden them directly in the morning. Before, I only had fruit as a meal most of the times, like during the day. And then I combined fruit with lots of greens and grains. So I didn't have it all alone, all by itself anymore in that time. Because by doing that, by eating it with greens and grains, you actually have more protein and fat in one meal, and that makes the digestion slower and makes the blood sugar spike less. And I had before I had many unlimited bananas and other potassium-rich foods, and then when it was the worst, I reduced my banana intake, focused on other fruits as well, and but I didn't take them out ever. I just tried to watch the potassium intake. And before, I also had greens and veggies, but not as often, and only like as a side dish for dinner or something. And then I had greens and veggies as much as possible, like in smoothies, and for dinner like a really decent size of veggies, like bigger than usual. Just have only whole foods, no refined foods, because those spike the blood sugar more. But I'm not saying that all these befores and all these things are bad. It's not a basic bad thing, but it can be an issue for those people who have adrenal fatigue, and this is just my recommendation. With these adaptations, I think you are going to manage to recover from adrenal fatigue, because I'm doing it that way. yeah, so I recommend for breakfast and lunch and snacks, like over the whole day, have green smoothies, lots of green smoothies, or have fruit with grains. And then in the evening, get lots of veggies on your plate. And root veggies and legumes are good for plant protein, and starches. And all whole, like brown rice, whole grains, buckwheat, barley, oats, millet, quinoa, amaranth, and so on. So yeah, and I think by this video, this video is the opposite to the public opinion. This is actually a quote from the book that I read. Vegetarians suffering moderate to severe adrenal fatigue have tremendous difficulty recovering on a strictly vegan diet. Strictly vegan diet. Oh, this is so strict. I love it. It's the best. Like, it's not strict at all, and it's the most abundant diet ever. And I just wanted to publish this video to make sure vegans don't have to eat animal products again in order to heal from adrenal fatigue. So please comment down below what your opinion is, and if you have adrenal fatigue. Yeah, and please like if this helped you. Thank you, bye! So in the end, carbs in abundance are still possible with adrenal fatigue. Yay!